I'm about to give you guys 8 habits that will fix almost all your problems. If you follow these 8 habits, it's going to be difficult for you to fail at life. Number 1, you need to accept the fact that extreme results can only come from extreme effort. I think that when most people go after their goals or to try to accomplish something, they really underestimate how much effort is required to accomplish that goal. And they put in the bare minimum. They say like, oh man, I worked hard enough for today, I can take tomorrow off. Or if they're trying to follow a diet, they say like, I can eat this donut. One donut won't kill you. Yeah, it won't kill you, but it won't help you. You won't really succeed in life, at least not at a level that's above average, until you stop trying to see how much you can get away with and start seeing how much you can push yourself. I read a book a long time ago. I might have been 19 or 20. And I read a book called The Science of Getting Rich. A dude named Wallace D. Wattles. I think this book was published in like 1910. It's over 100 years old. And one thing he kept saying in the book was, do all that can be done each day. He wrote it in all caps and it was multiple times throughout the book. And if you really think about that statement, do all that can be done each day. So that's not working hard. It's not grinding. It's not hustling. No, it's working at capacity, literally as much as you can do that day. And it's not sometimes, it's not most of the times. It's definitely not a lot. It's each day, every day, really pushing it to the actual limit on a consistent basis, day in and day out, without days off. I don't think you can fail at anything within reason if you approach it with that sort of vigor. But most people never do that. They never do all that can be done each day. They'll be like, oh yeah, I work hard, or man, I do a lot. But doing all that can be done each day is a totally different way to go about your goals. And you will not fail under those circumstances. The thing is, almost nobody ever does that. Almost nobody approaches their goals with that sort of ferocity. But the few people who do, they accomplish the goals over a certain amount of time. And then people say, oh man, he's lucky. They make up excuses to why he was successful or why he wasn't, or he's cheating, or he did that, or he did, or it's easy if he can do it, or he can do it, but I got this. And they make up all excuses, man. But are you doing all that can be done each day? If not, shut the fuck up and accept mediocrity. That's real shit. And also, there's some truth in your statement. Some people do have some advantages that you don't have. Some people may be able to work harder than you because you have certain responsibilities or other shit going on. But it's not work as hard as this guy does every day. It's do all that can be done each day. Are you working to your capacity, like within the confines of the responsibilities that you have? Are you working to capacity within the confines of the limitations that you're under? Are you making the most of the time you have? Are you making the most out of the resources you have? If not, shut the fuck up and accept mediocrity. The next habit is you have to learn how to, I call this condensing time. Some things are just going to take a certain amount of time, no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter how many women you have sex with or how many times you have sex with a woman, it's still going to take 9 months for her to make a baby in her stomach. But outside of things like that, you can actually compress time between where you are now and the goals you want to accomplish. For example, I had a student in my high ticket trainer program where I teach trainers how to grow their online fitness business. I had these 2 students who started around the same time. One's name was Corey, the other's name was Anthony. They were in very similar situations and they joined like on the same day. And 90 days later, Corey was making over $10,000 a month and Anthony was still struggling. He was only making $2,000-$3,000 a month. 1 month he made $5,000. He was always complaining about like not being able to get leads or not being able to, people weren't as interested in his stuff. And I was like, yo, bro, how many hours a day are you spending on your business? And he was like, yeah, I'm spending like 1 or 2 hours a day. I talked to Corey. I was like, bro, how many hours are you spending? Now they both have full-time jobs. And Corey said, man, I'm putting in 6 to 8 hours every day. And I was like, motherfucker, can't you see why you're only making between $2,000 and $5,000 a month? And he's making twice as much as you because he's putting in like 2-3 times as much effort as you. Their goal was both $10,000 a month, but Corey got there faster because he condensed time. He made the most out of each day, and that condensed the time it took for him to actually reach the goal because of the amount of effort and reps he put in each day. You can do that with most goals. I mean, there's some things like, having a baby, that's going to take 9 months, no matter what. With most of the goals that you want to accomplish, you can condense time. And the way you do that, you squeeze as much success out of each day as possible. I want you to treat your day like ammunition, right? And every hour is a bullet. If you waste the hour, then you waste your shot. But if you actually make the most out of each hour of each day, you're going to hit the target more often, which means you get closer to your goals quicker. The way you need to do that, I talked about it before, I've said this many times, you got to stop wasting time and go super hard every day, every hour of every day. And every hour of every day needs to be accounted for. And to do that, you're going to have to plan every hour of every day in your calendar. And if you can make the most out of each day, what's going to happen is you'll have more success during that day than if you were just doing it regularly, right? You'll get more success out of it each day. And if you extrapolate that over the course of a week, then you'll have a more successful week. You'll have more successes that week. And then you do that for 4 weeks in a row, then you'll have more success that month. You do that for 12 months in a row, your 2026 will be a successful year, way more successful than when you were wasting mad hours. So I want you to take inventory of how you're spending your time. Are you wasting it bullshitting when you're playing that video game? Is this moving you closer to your goal or not? When you're scrolling the internet, is this moving you closer to your goal or not? If you're bullshitting, is it moving closer to your goal or not? Because if you are always working on stuff that'll move you closer to your goals, then you'll condense the time it takes for you to actually reach the goals. Now, habit number 3 is eliminating distractions. A lot of people talk about different ways to eliminate distractions, but I think distractions are not the disease. They're the symptoms of a disease. The real problem is not planning your day. When you wake up with a pile of vague things to do, your brain kind of just shuts down. Have you had this experience? You had all this stuff to do, your brain shut down. It's confusing, and it kind of causes you to procrastinate because you don't know exactly where to start. So you say you're getting ready, but you end up procrastinating, scrolling, playing video games, been watching TV, like mental escapes, because your brain's kind of overwhelmed with all this shit you say you need to do to accomplish your goals. And when every hour of every day is not planned, that's when you get distracted. If you had a game plan for the day, you would know just to follow it. If you just had your calendar, you would know what you were supposed to be doing right now. And it'd be more difficult for you to get distracted because you would be able to actually attack that goal. But when you have all this a pile of bullshit you know you're supposed to do, it's almost overwhelming unless it's organized in a plan, an action plan, a game plan, a battle plan. So when every hour of every day is planned, distractions lose power. That clarity removes decision fatigue and it kills procrastination at its roots. Of course, you can do stuff like put your phone in another room and move to a quiet place. All that stuff is helpful. But what's happening is you're attacking the symptoms. The disease is not having a plan for the day. The next habit is going to fix your motherfucking life is protect the big rocks first. Let me give you an example. You can build your calendar out in layers. When you're planning every hour of every day in your calendar, is you want to put in the recurring task. You ever seen that analogy where they have a fucking jar or some shit and they fill it with big rocks and they fill it with small rocks and they fill it with sand? Okay. The big rocks are your non-negotiables, things you have to do every day, right? Maybe it's stuff like work, right? If you got a job, school, sleep, you put that sleep in your calendar. These are the recurring tasks. You know, if you got a family, time with your family, time with your girl, when you're going to work out, now you got the bases covered. Those are like the big rocks. Then the next block, the smaller rocks, these are the things that help you accomplish your goals, right? Your calendar will still have some white space in there. And you start filling up that white space with like the things that help you accomplish your goals. You have a business. All right. How many hours a day are you going to work on that business? If you have some other kind of goals you want to accomplish, you put that in your calendar around the big rocks. And then you still probably have a little bit of white space in your calendars, you know, a half hour here, 30 minutes there, whatever. That's when you do all the bullshit. And the reason we want to do that is because a lot of times you be doing that shit in reverse. You'll be bullshitting the day and you'll try to get around to things that accomplish your big goals. Or sometimes you get around to sleep. It's like, oh man, I didn't get enough sleep last night, but you was up playing Call of Warfare when you should have been protecting those big rocks and then filling the bullshit time. If you want to grab a game of fucking Super Smash real quick, you got 30 minutes, but your calendar is locked in, then go do it then. But you want to build it around the big rocks first, and then the sand is all the other bullshit, the shit that you just get around to when you get a chance, right? The next habit that's going to help you is start tracking your calories. I promise you start tracking your calories, it will be super easy for you to accomplish all your fitness goals. It will be so much easier. You're making it way more difficult than it needs to be because you're not tracking your calories. You can't out-train a bad diet, but you can out-diet bad training. And it's so easy to get fat. I don't think you guys understand how easy it is to get fat. You should be able to know by looking around, right? The average American is 17 pounds overweight. That's almost everybody. Every pound of fat you gain, it means that you ate 3,500 calories over maintenance. So let's just say, unbeknownst to you, you ate 200 calories over maintenance. Doesn't seem like a lot. Not a big deal. That's like 2 bananas or big handful of almonds or some shit. It's easy to get over 200 calories over maintenance, right? Now, let's say you did that every day for a year, just 200 calories over maintenance. That would mean you have consumed the extra 73,000 calories for the year. 73,000 divided by 3,500 is like 20 pounds. That would mean you have put on 20 pounds of fat for the year. Eating too many calories is so sinister. So when you're not tracking your calories, it's very easy to accidentally get fat. That's how most people get fat without realizing. They're not trying to. They think they're eating healthy or they think they're eating good. But if you just go a little bit over maintenance every day, that shit will add up and you will get fat. That's what happens to almost everyone. I watched the Bears game over the weekend. Yo, when they kept showing the crowd, I was like, yo, man, motherfuckers in Chicago like to eat. I can see it, man. I'm from Chicago. I know, man. We got some good food. Motherfuckers was at Portillo's and Harold's Chicken frequently. My city needs help. By contrast, if you start tracking the calories, every pound of fat you want to lose, you got to burn an extra 3,500 calories than you consume. It's real simple. All you got to do is you start tracking how many calories you burn each day, right? I use the Oura Ring, but you can use Fitbit, Apple Watch, anything like that. It gives you a rough estimate of how many calories you're burning each day. And then track how many calories you consume each day. Use MyFitnessPal. It's super simple. Motherfuckers act like it's hard tracking your calories in MyFitnessPal. I used to have to do it with a pen and paper and a notebook before smartphones were invented. If you burn 500 calories more than you consume each day, you do that for 7 days, you'll burn a pound of fat per week. If you want to lose 2 pounds of fat per week, then just burn 1,000 calories more than you consume each day. I'm telling you, it would be impossible for you not to lose fat, right? Tracking your calories. And even if you're not trying to gain weight, just so you don't eat over, because it's super easy to get fat, guys. I'm telling you, I don't think you understand how easy it is. Next thing you need to do is track your spending. If you don't track your money, it's almost irresponsible. I kind of feel like it's irresponsible. Money is so important in a first world country, in a capitalistic country on earth. Money is super important. It's like one of the few things you can't live without. You need food, shelter, water, oxygen. Oxygen is the only thing on that list that's free. So you need money to stay alive. And money makes all your decisions, right? Some of you guys will be watching this on a different or better device if you had more money. Some of you guys will be living in a different place if you had more money. You don't do the best for your family, you do the best you can afford. You don't send your kids to the best school, you send your kids to the best school you can afford, right? Money makes all your decisions. 100% of them are filtered through how much money you would have. You would make different decisions if you had a different amount of money. And because we understand that, we're realists, right? We understand that, we need to take it seriously, man. The most important thing to do is track your spending. So you can sign up from monarch.com. That's the one I use now. I used to use Mint before they shut down. Hook all your accounts to it, all your debit cards, all your credit cards, your brokerage accounts, your investment accounts, any properties you own, the shit you own in there, and you can track your net worth in real time, right? So it's like a scoreboard for your financial health. What it's going to do is it's going to show you every transaction and help you categorize it. And you can see where you need to cut spending, where you can cut the frivolous spending, right? Because if you want to get rich, you have to make more money than you spend and invest the difference. And if you do that over a long enough period of time, you will get rich. The 3 things you should invest in are either the stock market, real estate, or your own business. Your own business is going to give you the highest return, but it's the riskiest. Those are the 3 things you invest in. Anything you track, you're going to improve. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. The next habit you need to cultivate is doing the hard thing first. Pause. So when you structure your days, you want to front load it with the most difficult tasks and get them out the way. The things you've been procrastinating on, the things you want to do the least. Some of y'all, that's working out, right? That's not working out for me. It'll be like some fucking accounting shit or fucking with spreadsheets, some like boring ass work. I front load my days with that bullshit. And then I do the stuff that I enjoy more after the bullshit is done. So you want to think about it like dinner before dessert. I don't eat dessert. I guess I'm not a fucking woman or a child, but you know what I mean. It's the same concept. You give yourself a treat, pause, after you've done the difficult things, and you front load it, knock it out first. Just get it out the way. So for all the things you've been procrastinating on, front load your days with that. I promise you, you'll be more productive as a result. You don't want to procrastinate with the fucking bullshit, because a lot of things that you're avoiding are most times the things you need to do to accomplish your goals. You know, this is one of the most important habits, is you need to eliminate negative inputs. The decisions you make are influenced by the emotional state you're in when you make the decision. You ever been like super horny and you fucked an ugly girl, right? Had you been in a different state, you wouldn't have made that decision. Or you ever been super mad and said or did something that you regretted? Yeah, if you were in a different state, you would have made a different decision. The decisions you make are based off the emotions you feel at the time you make the decision. I have a friend, he's doing life in prison, right? Double homicide. He killed those people, right? But if he was in a different state at that time, he wouldn't have committed a double homicide. He might have made a different decision under those circumstances. So it's important that we monitor our emotion. One important way to do that is to eliminate the negative inputs. There's a few ways to do that. One, I don't let anyone talk negatively around me. Even if they're talking about themselves, like I'll stop and be like, hey, brother, don't say nothing about yourself you don't want to be true. You know, or I'll switch it. I'm like, yeah, no, I feel you, man. I'm sorry that shit happened, man. What's the next move, man? How we gonna get out of it? Even if something's going wrong, you want to focus on how you can improve the situation. Always be focusing on winning. Always be focusing on improvement. So I don't let no one talk negative around me. And if they refuse to comply, then I eliminate them from my life. That's one of the 48 laws of power. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky, because that shit is contagious. Fuck what you heard. That's one of the most sinister parts about growing up in the hood. Like when I was on the south side of Chicago, it feels hopeless. It's like a negative energy around. People don't feel positive and optimistic. I don't listen to no sad music. My alarm goes off, I get money by 50 Cent, because that's what I'm trying to focus on. I don't even listen to like fucking conscious rap where they rapping about all the problems in the world. Fuck that shit, man. That shit is self-indulgent, first part, because ain't no conscious rap song ever change shit, right? I'm not listening to no breakup music. I'm not watching no fucking sad movies. If I do watch movies, it's about people accomplishing things, becoming victorious. I got a positive input for you. If you want to learn how to grow your online fitness business, I got a free guide, link in the description, where you can learn how to make your first $5,000 as an online trainer. Go ahead and click the link in the description. Let's get it.